Joining us now is Sheitan Atigari with stories trending around the world. Hello, Sheitan.
Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. I hope you had a restful weekend. Not too,
I
not too stressful.
Your very eventful weekend.
Quite eventful. But, let's go into the trending stories. President Bola Tinubu has approved the request of his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri to proceed on an indefinite leave of absence. Ingilale cited medical issues affecting his immediate family as the reason for his leave, which will also see him step down as the special presidential envoy on climate action and chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee on Project Evergreen. The president has expressed his support for Ingilale's decision, wishing him and his family a speedy recovery and full restoration to health. Tinubu also acknowledged Ingilale's tireless efforts and dedication to serving the nation, thanking him for his remarkable contributions. Let's see how Nigerians are taking the news. Kicking off there with Henry tweeting, Ajuri Ingilale has done well for himself. Serving in 2 administrations back-to-back is not easy, especially when it has to do with the media. The truth is that the senior media cabal in Aso Rock don't want him around, and he has a great future ahead. Well done, Ajuri Ingilale. Next tweet there reads, with Ajuri taking a leave for family health reasons, President Tinubu faces a tough challenge in finding a replacement, especially given the current state of affairs in the country. Ingilale's role has been crucial for this administration, wishing him and his family the best during this time. And finally, Chief Ajuri Ingilale is a wise and highly professional media personnel who understands his role and performs it well. Health challenges or not, some people know their craft and won't compromise for too long. I join the president in wishing him success. Well, since this news broke, there's been a lot of back and forth as to, there's an official reason, of course, stating that it was a health, family, personal issues. But there was an investigative report that was put together by the Foundation of Investigative Journalism that actually claims that the reason why he left was allegedly because of the tension between him and Bayo Ononuga. That, of course, is still yet to be, right now it's just allegedly. What are your thoughts? And I want to start with you because there's a certain article of yours, Doctor, that is now making the rounds talking about what actually goes down at Aso Rock. Please fill us in.
I'm not sure I know what is going on there. But let me say this. Ajuri Ingilale is a chief. He's an adult. He has written a statement in which he says he would like the privacy of his family to be respected at this time. And he stated in that his notice of resignation that, he's resigning to attend to family medical issues. It would be presumptuous for anybody to begin to speculate as to what those family medical issues could possibly be. But because of the importance of his position, presidential spokesman, special envoy on climate action, chairman of Presidential Committee on Project Evergreen, he alone combined 3 different positions to show to those who are saying maybe he was marginalized the importance, that he enjoyed within the 1 year that he spent with the Tinubu administration. However, that said, there have been many theories out there. There is the Kenneth Okonkwo theory. Kenneth Okonkwo said on, I think, X, that, it's because Ajuri Ingilale has refused to help President Tinubu to lie to Nigerians, particularly about Tinubu. There is the Shehu Sani angle to it. Shehu Sani says, well, Ajuri Ingilale can now go home and sleep well, eat well, switch off his phone, and probably add more weight. I don't know whether Shehu Sani is trying to body shame him there. There is the FIJ angle to it, which many people have bought into, saying that, he was elbowed out because of, poor working relationships with some other key players within the system. And then there is also the Premium Times angle. I also saw a story in Premium Times and in other papers. All of this, trying to explain the reason. But in the presidency's acceptance of his resignation, the presidency told the same lie that Ajuri stated in his letter. And I think, we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. That office is very important. I would rather be more interested in who comes next, who is going to take on the role of presidential spokesman. And with that office, Nigerians have a lot of expectations. Yeah. They know that the presidential spokesman will occasionally spin stories. Okay, a presidential spokesman will defend the interests of the president and the presidency and of the government. It's not a position for a social critic or a contrarian personality. But anyway, let's leave all of that about the ecology of that office. But I'm sure Nigerians will be looking forward to who will come next. And, there will still be a lot of speculations when that next person comes.
So I don't want to this is not the work of demons.
I don't want to speculate. No, I wrote that article, I think, in 2014, 10 years ago.
Yes, that's to clarify.
Let me ask one question. You say a presidential spokesman will spin stories. Did you do that in your time?
No, your loyalty. You see, when you take that office, so you swear to an oath.
Good. Okay.
An oath of loyalty and an oath of allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Oath of office, oath of allegiance. And under that, your loyalty cannot be questioned to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
So did you, your allegiance
did you spin stories?
No, I cannot be revealing my own tenure. I left office, is it 9 years ago?
I'm just asking. Did you?
Rufai, let's come back. You cannot reveal.
Swear allegiance. All right,
then.
Let's whether or not.
Anything you did,
yes.
You have sworn allegiance.
To the office of the president. And to allegiance to the federal government
and president.
So you are required to act in the best interest of Nigeria.
But even if, and excluding anything, but as long as
it's not every time that you spin stories.
But you spin
it's a national security.
It's a national security.
But anyway, to be honest, even with in the UK, in the US, there are spin doctors. There are people who spin stories.
You can't say because you are a spokesman, you go and say things that will mess up the country.
So you manage information. Information.
Federal government of Nigeria, you have an obligation to protect it.
Yes.
Okay, so with Chief Ajuri Ngelale, first of all, despite the fact that his tenure was quite controversial, I don't think there's anyone who's held that position that hasn't been controversial or hasn't had a hate-love relationship with the Nigerian people, especially when you're representing a government that a number of people have found not very popular because of the hardship that people are experiencing. To represent, and when they have to take on very difficult decisions. Even the president himself admitted that he had to take very difficult decisions. And so to represent that kind of government, it's a difficult job to have. Let me just put it out there. So in that regard, let me first of all say well done to him for his time in office. I think for people like him, sometimes, I'm still waiting for Dr. Bati's own memoirs because I believe that would be great to read some of the things that happen. It's not all you see and how, things are portrayed that happens. A lot of things happen on the ground. So let me just say, first of all, young man, it's sad that he's under 40, and to see him at that age to have achieved, this much and attain that height, I say commendations to him. Now, on the other side of things, despite the conspiracy theories and propaganda being put out there, what a number of people have commended is the way he handled the media corps in State House and how he was able to give opportunities for other houses, media houses, to go on state functions with the president, which at some point was monopolized by the state station NTA. And so that's side of the story had to be put forward that a lot of people enjoyed his time in office in terms of the media houses outfit representation because they were able to put their step forward, and some people didn't like that because they wanted it to be monopolized by NTA and state the state broadcasting service. So just to put that forward, he has said that we should respect his indefinite leave of, we should respect that, and his family members. And so I wish him all the best. He's still very young. I hope that now, without the pressure of office, he would be able to put his best foot forward in any situation he gets into.
I mean, what else can I say as regards all of this? I mean, the alumnus, Dr. Bati, has said it all. But you see, people will definitely have divided opinions about Ajuri and his time. I know Ajuri personally, somebody I talk to, and truth has to be said. Whatever we say, let's not forget that once health matter is involved, we need to be able to respect whatever it is. I know there are different sides to it. He has done his bits. We are all actors in this scene of life. At some point, we'll be at a point, at some point, we'll leave. we should constantly think of what will be said about us. So I'm sure he will have a time to be able to reflect on his time there. Obviously, there's some things he'll feel he could have done better. There's some things he'll feel, oh, I feel otherwise. Hindsight, like they say, is always 20/20.
Yeah.
And that's why we should be very careful in life. I wish him well. I wish his family well. I can only pray for the best but for me, as regards who's going to replace it, I do not think, with due respect, Ajuri needs a replacement there, because the roles were already clashing with that of Mr. Bayo Onuga. And Mr. Bayo Onuga is equally a very experienced journalist. Well, rather than expending more cost to bring somebody in, just allow Mr. Bayo Onuga that had pretty much been doing most of the work, because for a large extent, it's been Ajuri just announcing the appointments. Just allow Mr. Bayo Onuga to continue with his role. You now bring another person in. You don't know, they bring back the friction the person will bring in. And these are people like Mr. Bayo Onuga that have been there with President Tinubu for a while. These are his people that know him in and out. That's just my own opinion. So I don't think there's
All
a need
right,
to bring
then,
another
let's move on
person
to our next story. Monday Okpebholo, the All Progressives Congress candidate for the Edo governorship election, goofed while addressing the crowd during his campaign rally at Ovia North local government area. In a now viral video shared on Facebook, Okpebholo, reacting to issues raised by Oshomole and other speakers on the podium, said his administration will transform Edo State if he wins the September 21 governorship election by providing them with insecurity. Oshomole, standing beside Okpebholo on the podium, was seen signaling to him, after which the candidate quickly corrected himself. Let's take a look.
We are going to provide you with insecurity. We are going to provide you with security. We are going to fight insecurity. We are going to make sure that the evil ones are out of our land. This land does not belong to kidnappers. Do you want them to remain here?
I had to bring this to you because it was a trending video. Of course, he corrected himself immediately, but there was that initial confusion when he said he was going to provide the people with insecurity. I mean, Rufai, your thoughts?
It's a slip of tongue, boy. Like somebody would say, it's a slip of tongue, you know, so we can't hold it back. But most importantly, the point I'm always asking is, we should be careful of leaders that are not tested in proper interviews. I saw he has gone to do a pidgin English interview on BBC. We're still calling him here because the way at which we'll grill, the BBC cannot grill. And why are we grilling? We are grilling for the betterment of every state in this country, to ask the complete empirical questions. So I don't believe in leaders that run away from press, that do all sorts of things. Because you see, why we say this is the Yorubas have been saying, we can see the after effect of President Tinubu not attending debate before the election. Because most of these ideas he has gone to do now that has destroyed Nigeria, if we had questioned him and fine-tuned the ideas during debate, probably this would not happen. So please, we want him to come. And you see, when media wants to scrutinize a candidate, it's not that they have anything. Like they're carrying rumor now that Asue Godalo has shares here. No, I'm not beholden to Asue Godalo. We're not beholden to Olumide Akpata. Arise is not a PDP or APC. We are fair to all for the betterment of our country.
All right, then.
So I'm still extending the offer. I hear elections on the 28th, about 20 days from now. 21st. Mr. Monday Okpebholo, come on this platform. We want to talk to you about your policies. Your economic policy, your policy on water, your policy on development, your policy on education. We want to scrutinize and ask if you know the numbers. That's all.
All right, then let's move on to our next story. Billionaire wife and businesswoman Shade Okoya has given a glimpse into her luxurious lifestyle by showcasing her impressive walk-in closet. In a video shared online by her son, Wahab, Shade takes viewers on a tour of her extensive fashion collection featuring luxury designer items and rare vintage pieces that are no longer in production. Let's take a look.
This is my favorite item in the room. I like it because it shows hard work and I'm so very proud.
Nobody in their mind, they get the brain like you. Yeah.
Tom Ford is my favorite brand for now. I bought majority of them from Vegas. I'm in love with them now. Well, I don't like how you want me to choose, but if I have to pick, I think one of the new ones.
Now, before we comment on that story, let's take this last one and then we can take the comments together. The glamorous coastal town of Saint-Tropez was buzzing with festivity on the evening of September 6th as Toyin Saraki, wife of former Senate President Bukola Saraki, celebrated her milestone 60th birthday. The exclusive soiree was marked by an extraordinary performance from renowned singer Davido, adding a musical flair to the luxurious celebration. His favorite uncle, Governor Ademola Adeleke, billionaire businessman Femi Otedola, his wife, as well as Oba Said Elegushi, were at the event. Photos and videos, which have since circulated widely, captured the elegance of the affair, showcasing a night filled with opulence and high-profile entertainment in one of Europe's most coveted destinations. Now, let's take a look at this quick dance-off between Davido and our favorite dancing governor. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Dr.
Well, this is not the moment when, in Nigeria, you will be, showing Nigerians the life of the rich at a time when people cannot feed, at a time when we cannot get fuel into our vehicles. I don't think it's the kind of story that people will find exciting. The gap between the rich and the poor. Number one, I don't want to talk about Mrs. Okoya's wardrobe. She's the wife of a multi-billionaire, a man that is highly respected, philanthropist. And I think it's, it's not fair for me to be peeping into other people's wives' wardrobe. So I will leave that subject. As for the celebration in Saint-Tropez in France, well, let me just say you can't blame any man for celebrating his wife. If you like, you can celebrate your wife anywhere in the world. Senator Saraki, is up to the task. So he's honoring his wife. But I would rather like to talk about, Mrs. Toyin Ojora Saraki in terms of her contributions within the public space. She's known as the wife of Senator Saraki. She had been First Lady in Kwara State on 2 occasions. But more importantly, is the contribution that she continues to make within the public space. She's a founder of the Wellbeing Foundation. And under that Wellbeing Foundation, she has promoted a lot of projects in the area of, maternal health, women empowerment, addressing the challenges of infant mortality. And she has, global partners who have been working with her in this regard. She's a member of the UN Women's Leadership Network. She's a member of Every Woman, Every Child initiative. She has, done quite a number of projects, and we have had cause, to interview her on this program, drawing attention to issues of education and all of those health concerns that I have mentioned. So apart from being the wife of Senator Saraki, she has, as she attains the age of 60, can look back, in terms of our own contributions to society, even if from the NGO sector. And in that regard, I would like to congratulate her on the attainment of 60 years and wish her many more years, many happy returns. And I'm sure that both the Ojora family and the Saraki family will be very happy to celebrate with her on this special occasion.
Ayo?
Okay, so let me talk about Mrs. Razak Okoya. First of all, happy birthday to Mrs. Toyin Saraki. She's a woman I admire for her philanthropy and her diligence. I think she's a role model that is definitely worthy of emulation. So happy 60th birthday. It was also the 60th of Mrs. Ekwa Abudu as well. So that's someone else who's made strides in the education sector in Nigeria in particular. But let me talk about Mrs. Folashade Okoya. You know, when the video, initially I watched and I was like, oh, you know, nobody wants to see display of opulence, especially at a time like this. But I do think that it's also important to not legislate on how people who made their money privately choose to spend their money. If she chooses to buy and fund her lifestyle in however way she wants to, that's her prerogative. I say this because for a lot of times when women show how much, you know, their wealth, it is often, you know, you begin to castigate and say, oh, it's with her husband, it's because she slept around with things. It is time we started to acknowledge that women actually have the capacity and ability to make money. And when they do make money, they also have the ability and right to splurge when they want to. I say that because Shade Okoya is not just married to a billionaire. She's also the MD of Eleganza Industrial Limited. That has to be put out there. It's not enough. She's been married to him for 25 years, so I don't think you can any longer say, oh, she climbed up there. She has, yes, she got married to him when she was younger, but she's also worked very hard. And if she wants to flaunt that money, except your money is missing, and you can point fingers at her, it's her business, however she wants to choose to spend her money. That's what I would say. But in terms of the sensitivity of this, you can speak about that, people are poor and all that. But I praise women who are hardworking and who have enough time as well to enjoy the proceeds of their hard work.
Definitely. Rufai?
Me? What do I have to say? The rich are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer. That has been Nigeria's story since 1960. So when the rich show their wealth, sometimes it's a motivation for the poor, or it's a hardship for the poor because the poor start to think my life could be a whole lot better. That's the revolving decimal of Nigeria's life. But the question is, when are we going to have the story change for the poor in such a way that they can at least not go to bed hungry? That's when will be true fulfillment.
All right, then. Very, very salient points made by all three. Thank you so much. That's all I have for you on today's edition of What's Trending.